I wanted to quickly discuss sort of my mentality with content creation in the game recently, because it's taken a bit of a hit, and there's a lot of changes that's happened in the last couple of months. So I mean, first of all, initially, it was just kind of quite a stale format, obviously with the ban list and everything. Lost Crossroads, you can't lose YouTube. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Don't worry. But with the ban list, the format was quite stale, and the new set, it felt like it brought some cool things, but it didn't really bring anything that I was particularly interested in. So I think for a while the format has just felt quite stale for me. There's not, like, in terms of black decks, Fu isn't really that interesting. Gobras have been picking up recently, but it's not like it's not a deck that particularly draws my excitement. It's quite fun, but it's not Blue Bojack levels or anything. And so I think for a little while everything was just feeling quite stale. And then on top of that, the Fusion World announcement dropped, and that was like a kick in the chest, because my views on that are very negative at the moment, and they have been since it sort of dropped. So that was definitely a big kick in the chest in terms of my motivation for Dragon Ball. And so I started looking at playing a bit of Flesh and Blood and branching out a little bit. That's been really good fun. I am really enjoying Flesh and Blood. So maybe I'll eventually put Flesh and Blood content up as well as Dragon Ball. Not sure about that. Fab is the boy. Yeah. Flesh and Blood is really good fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. Obviously, Dragon Ball is still my main game, and I still prefer Dragon Ball over Flesh and Blood, but Flesh and Blood is an amazing game as well. I have to give credit to that. So yeah, I kind of didn't really have any motivation to be playing the game at all, let alone making content. And then on top of that, when I started to sort of pick things back up, because, you know, finals announcements were starting to kick in. Asia's finals is happening, I think, this month, right? Later this month? Or is it early November? I don't remember. European finals are early December. We started to look at, like, flights and accommodation for all of that. And it was suddenly like, okay, the motivation started to come back in. And then, bam, Scrub Games locals are no longer running because of a bunch of stuff that has happened in the Discord, unfortunately. And so right as my motivation was starting to kick back in, and I was sort of like, okay, I don't really have the motivation to, like, dedicate a lot of time to content right now, but I'd definitely be down to just, like, stream some chill games, clip them and put them onto YouTube and get back into the game in general. And then, yeah, the Scrub Games locals has sort of taken a rest, unfortunately. And I know there's other locals that Will is running now, but I'm not free on Tuesdays, so I can't play in them anyways. So yeah, then there was again another sort of kick to the chest of like, I can't really, as much as I want to be playing the game consistently now and creating a bit more content for it, I physically can't do that on a regular basis anymore. Because there's, like, I haven't seen any other locals on Fridays that I can particularly play in. So yeah, that's kind of been where my head's at for the last couple of months or so, and why I haven't been making so many YouTube videos or streaming as much. And as well, like, in terms of other easy content to make, I guess, would be like deck profiles. But again, the format's been super stale. Nothing from the new set has really grabbed my attention all that much. So there's not really any new decks that I'm looking to build or create. All of the decks that I'm playing right now are decks that are already on the channel. So I don't feel like there's a much point of just kind of regurgitating the same deck profiles with like 1 or 2 cards changed. And like I say, I don't right now have the motivation to dedicate a lot of time to like big videos like the guide series that I started up, where I'm like just trying to break down the way that I think about the game in general and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Definitely really enjoying the game again though, and Anniversary Box has given a load of support to a bunch of new decks that I'm super excited about, and a bunch of decks that I've played in the past, so it just all kind of fits together. As in terms of plans for the future, I can't guarantee anything. I'm going to be attempting to continue regular Friday streams like I used to do, but obviously just not playing in the locals. We're gonna try and run some like more variety stuff. So, well, like today I'm gonna be doing anniversary box opening. I've nabbed a tier list that the Lookout did. Shout out to you, Damien. So we're gonna run through that just to see where I think decks are at after the recent set of regional support and the recent anniversary box, and leading up into the regionals next weekend and eventually finals, I guess. So I'm gonna try and think of some like interesting and new ideas to do each week. Sometimes it may just be that I do stuff like playing a couple of games with some mates, and doing some testing. Sometimes it may even be that I play games other than Dragon Ball. I might play Flesh and Blood on stream. I might play League of Legends or whatever games like Phasmo. I've done some Phasmo streams in the past and League streams, so maybe we do some of that as well. Primarily it will still be Dragon Ball, but there may be some weeks where I'm just feeling something else. And yeah, I've had a couple of suggestions from Joe from TNBL. So we've got a couple of ideas in the bank to keep things entertaining for the next couple of weeks at least. And I'd also want to try and schedule streams like specifically, so if there's a new set coming out, doing like a box opening stream or like a tier list of where I think decks will be going into the new set, that sort of thing. Or if there's a regionals coming out, maybe doing some deck building of decks that I think are going to be good for the regionals. But yeah, we'll see how relevant we can keep the streams in terms of current events. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I had to get off my chest for now. Talishar content is a good idea actually, because the fab deck I have right now is Azuri, and it's mostly complete, but it's obviously missing the expensive cards for some of them. But Talishar content, I could at least branch out and try out different decks, yeah.